Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to lesson 2 from the week of April 20th. This is your third week of remote learning. So nice job. I want to start by talking about that. I know that you guys are working hard and I appreciate it. And it seems like you have a lot to do. So I appreciate that feedback. You've been telling us that. So I want you to know we've taken it to heart. And this week we've tried to simplify things. And even next week we will make an effort to simplify things even further. Today's lesson is a short one, but it does help you make progress as a reader. You are going to analyze the craft and structure of a piece of text, but we'll keep it real short. So the important thing, though, is during this time, yes, we are growing as thinkers and analyzing text together, but make sure you're reading. Make sure you're making progress as a reader and a writer and a thinker. So you're going to read a little bit each time here for Language Arts, but I encourage you to pick up a good book and make sure you get into a good spot and read on your own too. Okay, on to today's lesson. So each time we want you to follow this learning routine. Isn't it weird to do it this way? But we want you to make sure that you're in a good place for learning, clear your mind, because this is going to take a bit of thinking today. I'm sure your new normal is checking your email regularly. That's what you need to be doing. Check the email. Then you get on Google Classroom. Both Mrs. Hibbler, Mrs. Pomnian, and myself, we've had students who have been looking for assignments on Google Classroom Stream. That's not where they are. They're on Google Classroom. So please help out your classmates or your friends. Make sure they're going to Google Classroom to the classwork, and then follow the lessons that way. So here we are in lesson two of this week. And we're going to start with just this jumpstart activity, but just thinking about these questions, not responding in writing, but kind of priming our brain. Last week, you read a memoir written by Jane Goodall. She calls it My Life with the Chimpanzees. It's an actual book. You could buy it or look for it and read it. So we want you to be thinking, why did she not title the book My Life Studying the Chimpanzees? What was the purpose of that? And we're really going to be looking at author's purpose today. What does the phrase with the chimpanzees suggest about the way Dr. Goodall views her interactions with them and how she wants the reader to think about them? So that's very unique. And we're going to look at her purpose. It was a very intentional purpose in doing that. So today will be a lot of analyzing and thinking about the text. Okay, so we have two big learning targets. The first one is to be able to cite textual evidence to support analysis of text. And that's what we're doing. We are analyzing text today. And our big one, though, is to determine an author's perspective or purpose. Why did she write it? What was her purpose in writing this text? So when I think of author's purpose, I often think of PIE, 3 main purposes for writing: to persuade, to inform, or to entertain. So which one is it for this? The author's purpose is his or her reason for writing, which can be to persuade, to inform, or to entertain. So why do you think Dr. Goodall wrote her memoir? What was her purpose? Notice how Dr. Goodall shares her feelings a lot in this memoir about some of the people who worked for her, or her feelings of frustration at going for weeks without ever seeing the chimpanzees. Now, understanding why an author writes a particular work helps readers determine how best to evaluate that information that she shared, those details. If we know the author's purpose, it'll help us understand those details better. My Life with the Chimpanzees is a memoir. That's a type of nonfiction writing in which an author tells about a memorable time in his or her own life. A memoir is true. It's not made up. It is a true story. Like all narratives, authors of memoirs have a purpose for writing. An author's purpose is his or her main reason for writing. For example, an author may write about the impacts of an oil spill to both inform the readers as well as to persuade them to take action. So to determine an author's purpose, you make inferences. That's why that's part of our learning target. Inferences based on the details that he or she includes in the text. So we are going to look closely at some of the details from the text, and we are going to infer the author's purpose. So you are going to do that on the exit ticket using the Google form. This is task 2 for today. This is your only other task. Your first task was to listen to this recorded lesson. And then task 2 is to answer a couple questions on the Google form. And these questions have you look at details and determine the author's purpose for including those details. How do those details support the author's purpose for writing the text? So just a few simple questions for you to answer today. Now, before I let you go, though, I do want to challenge you with a Mission Possible. This is not required. These are optional activities if you're interested in learning more. This week is Earth Day, right? Earth Day is on April 22nd. So the National Geographic Channel has a Jane Goodall special on it. You can watch the trailer. Also, there is a Jane Goodall Institute website that has fantastic information on it, even a list of books you might be interested in checking out on this topic. So we want to be challenging you during this time at home as a reader and a writer and thinker, and challenge you to do these Mission Possible activities, but they certainly are not required. So thank you for listening. What I'm going to ask you to do now is to close out of this, go back to the Google Classroom classwork, and complete the Google form. Complete the exit ticket. It's going to ask you about the details and what the author's purpose was for those details. Okay, until next time.